Hello, guys. Welcome back to the channel. We've got Scott in the building. So, how are we doing today?
I'm good, Dan. Thank you very much. Are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Just got over last week's result against Luton. I mean, it was quite disappointing how we drew that in the end.
Yeah, it was fairly heartbreaking, wasn't it, to do that. Sometimes when you think you're making progress, and it just feels like you've gone back to square one to concede them two goals in the manner that we did. But nothing's ever easy with Forest. Let's face it, we've been here, 100 times, 1,000 times before. So, yeah, it was a blow, and I think particularly coming to this next run of fixtures, it was. We've got to be beating teams like Luton. I think just to put, hopefully a bit of daylight between, the teams that have come up, that we can stay up. But I think the worry is at the minute we're going to get drawn into a bit of a battle again before Christmas, with injuries and things like that. I think that's the worry.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, what did you put it down to last week? Was it the subs? Was it the defending? I mean, I know there've been quite a lot of debate on social media about who to lay the
Well,
blame. I mean,
yeah, I
what?
mean, first half, we just needed a goal. And I think as soon as we got that goal, it was like, right, let's just finish the job. And then the second one went in, you thought, right, job done. And then, yeah, I'm still trying to understand these windows of substitutions. Um, I think Willie Bolly, you just keep him on the pitch with one leg, even if it meant, Worrell coming on to be an extra defender and Willie just to stand there and not do any running, but just had the ball. And I think it was, really evident particularly on the second goal that, if Joe's not attacked the ball, but, Bolly, that's his bread and butter. And, they've done that. So it was really disappointing. I felt sorry for Joe Worrell because he's been taken out of the team. He's been captain. He's been playing well. He's come out of the team, and I think he just looked a bit rusty. And let's not forget, their striker, Adebayo, is it? He caused him problems, in the season that we went up. So it was a bit of I don't know. Probably would have gave that striker a little bit of right. I'm up against Joe Roll. I've caused him some problems, and he did. So it was disappointing, for Joe. And then you have to listen to all the crap on Twitter afterwards. Every mistake he makes, everybody writes him off, and then he comes back. So Joe will come back. But I just felt he was a bit rusty, and clearly he would be. So I don't think the manager helped him too much. But we're in the Premier League, and you should be ready to call upon and do your job. And yeah, it was disappointing, but I felt just as sorry for Chris Wood, to be honest, because he's not been my cup of tea. We have to play a different way, but considering we've had loads of injuries and he's got himself 2 goals, that should have been a big result for Forest. Just say, right, that's Luton out of the way. It's 3 points picked up there. And Chris Wood has scored 2 goals when we've had players out, injured, particularly with Taiwo and Hudson-Odoi not playing. It was a real shame for Chris Wood, to be honest.
And that's a good thing because, I mean, Chris Wood's goals last week, there were 2 perfectly good goals by Wood. You could tell he's done that in penalty area for years, like that header and how he put that first goal was 2 really good goals.
Yeah, there was, and his third was a good finish, but he just went just that little bit too early when he didn't have to, but he should have had an hat trick, really. But I think on the whole, it was a decent performance. It was just the end, and it is unforgivable. You can't do that, and you particularly can't do that against a team that have come up with there's no budget at Luton. They've all the ground's tiny, and that's not disrespectful to Luton. It's just the fact that they are running on a bit of a shoestring to get themselves up. They're starting to get accustomed to Premier League life. They had a good result, obviously, at Everton. And I thought it was a banana skin anyway. I really did because they beat us at their ground. I think we drew at the City ground when the year we went up. So I knew it wasn't going to be a given. So to go 2 up, it was like brilliant. This should be done. So I think 2-2 was, was really disappointing.
Yeah, definitely. Um, I mean, we got Liverpool next at Anfield. I mean, the Anfield game last season sort of rejuvenated for us in a really weird way because we actually started attacking teams and we got 2 goals against them and quite undeservedly to not get something out of that game. I mean, Liverpool on Sunday. I mean, how are you feeling going into it?
Yeah, Dan, what you just said, I absolutely agree with that. That was actually a bit of a catalyst for us staying up. That we could, there was a bit of belief instilled that we could score goals against, one of the biggest clubs in Europe, if not the world. So, I think that definitely really helped. Um, you go to Liverpool and your Man Cities and there might be a chance against Man United and Chelsea this season and Spurs, but I still think Liverpool and Man City, when you go in there, then to come away with a point in some respects, is as good as a win. I'm not expecting much, to be honest. I mean, I know they played last night, so whether they might be a little bit tired, but they've got obviously some really good players anyway, but they've bought a couple in as well, who look fantastic. So I guess it'll be, another bit of a yardstick to see, how can we play against them, and if we can put them a decent performance and not come away too disappointed that, we got absolutely battered, then I think it's about taking a performance into the next game. If we get a point, that's great. But obviously, I think, what have we got? Villa, West Ham coming up, two really difficult games also. So, yeah, I think it's about performance. I think more than anything, a point will be a bonus.
Yeah, definitely. I couldn't agree more. And like you said then, I couldn't agree more. I mean, how would you set up against Liverpool? Would you keep to this 4-3 field? Could you see Forest going back to a back three?
I don't know. They tried against Man City, didn't they? They didn't last bloody 10 minutes. So um, I really don't know, to be honest. I mean, given that they conceded 2 goals to Luton in the last 10 minutes, I would think that, they'll be trying to set the stall out as solid. So I'd probably go with, a back five that potentially moves into a three when we're on the offensive of pushing the fullbacks up. But,
Mm.
Mangala's been playing ever so well in midfield, and so is Dominguez, and Sangare is, he's starting to warm up a little bit. Would like to see a little bit more from him. But I think the worry is, where are the goals coming from at the minute? And I think for me, other than, Harry Toffolo putting a delivery in, I just don't know. I mean, again, what was pleasing last week was Elanga got himself two assists.
Yeah,
It sounds like he's not been very well this week, but it might be Cooper, just coming out with that. But I'm not too sure you can play mind games with Liverpool. They won't. I don't think they'll really care whether Elanga plays or not, to be honest. So, if anything, it's, if he goes, then what are we down to in terms of flair plays? It'll be down to Morgan to do something, and Morgan struggled when it's down to him all the time. So we'll have to see. Obviously, Danilio's back on the grass, but whether he's going to be fit enough, Cooper said not, anti. So
yeah.
we'll see. But you never know with Super Coops.
And that's the thing because obviously Toffolo's putting in a couple of really decent performances in at the minute, and obviously got Anya back now. You got obviously got Serge. I mean, and even last Saturday, I was saying to someone Sunday, I think it was Sunday, yeah, it was Sunday actually. I was in the pub and I was chatting away to my mum and my mate, and I was saying that like Mangala last Saturday was probably his best game in the first shirt. And the
Yeah,
good thing that with Mangala that we had Sangori was had that physicality and Dominguez. was that workhorse, which freed up Mangala.
I think Mangala's playing the best that he has so far. I mean, I know we're only what 9, 10 games in, but um, he's been a bit unlucky with injuries and whatever last year, and he just I don't know. I think he picked up a bit of a bad injury and was out for a while, and he could never seem to get back up to the pace because he started really well first 2 or 3 games. Um, but yeah, he started the season really well. Mangala, I think he's been a best player so far this season. Been really consistent. Um, but I guess it just puts the onus on Dominguez and Sangari to say, right, we've got somebody behind us that is working really well with the defence. He's picking up loose balls, and I would like to see Sangari move a little bit more forward and just get more involved in the game because Dominguez is running the show. In midfield, he's been absolutely fantastic. What a positive sign he's been. But I'll just like to see Sangari just doing a little bit more, especially with injuries and where's the goal threat going to come from. So you're probably thinking a set piece at the minute. But equally with those three midfields, they can defend, they can be physical. So it's going to be a big test. It's going to be backs to the walls, isn't it? Let's face it. And
Yeah.
it's going to be about discipline more than anything. So yeah, you just hope it's not going to be a whitewash of a game more than anything.
Yeah, definitely. And after the next 3 games on standing enough, or that Liverpool's not to turn out, but the 2 games after that are on Stars, so it's like hopefully that the consistency in the games next 3 weeks going to be Sundays. Hopefully that we will see that benefit, especially with Liverpool playing in Europe as well on Thursday. So obviously, I know they had much of a changed 11, but hopefully that could work in Forest's favour as well.
Yeah, you'd hope so. But if you catch a team in the mood on that day, then it can be absolute carnage. So I think it'll probably be down to Liverpool's mindset on the day more than anything. If they start well and they play well, then it's going to be difficult to pick up a point. But if they're not on it, then we need to be absolutely on it and reduce what we can. But it'll be a difficult game. It'll be interesting to see whether he does anything with the goalkeeper. Not that I don't think Turner deserves, but there's been a few rubblings, isn't there? I think he's getting a bit frustrated on the bench.
Yeah.
Number one. So, a little bit of a anomaly like that on going to Anfield. We changed the keeper and he has a bit of a blinder, and I don't know, maybe we need something like that at the minute.
Yeah, that's famous. I know there've been quite a few calls for that change the last couple of weeks. I mean, no disrespect to Turner because I've always said about Turner since the Greek goalkeeper came in that Turner should keep it to when it's his shirt to lose. And I think last couple of weeks, no disrespect to him, he has had really good moments. I know that there've been quite a few calls for him to be dropped. I know that as you said, the Greek goalkeeper getting a bit frustrated now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Turner's particularly done anything wrong, to be
Uh,
honest. I think it's just a case of do we just throw something a little bit left field in on Sunday that if we've got a goalkeeper in that's chomping at the bit, and if he gets an opportunity and he's perhaps getting a bit frustrated, he's gonna have to show it if he gets a chance. So maybe something like that, maybe that might give us a little bit something. I think it's just going to be really difficult to create chances. I think if you had Morgan, Gibbs, White, Elanga, Hudson, Odoi, and Taiwo, then on the break, yeah, absolutely. But you'd still be going thinking, can we pull something off? But when you take all that talent out pretty much and you're down to Wards and, maybe Elanga, then it's, that's a tough ask.
mm. Yeah, definitely. Have we got a score prediction for Sunday?
I'm going to go with a A respectable 2-0 loss, I'll go for.
All fairs. Do you want to say about your social as well on Twitter?
Yeah, you can catch me on Munich and Madrid on Twitter or X.
Yeah, whatever. We don't want to rebrand it for Twitter. All right.
Still Twitter. It'll always be Twitter.
Yeah, always be Twitter. Thank you for coming on as per usual.
No worries, Dan. Thanks for having me.
It's right. So thank you for watching, guys, and goodbye.